Okie dokie, hold on, let me turn that off. Say hello, 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 everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Looks like we've got Dark, Parting, Special, Armani, Solar, Nightmare. A lot of really good players out here today. Looks like we're missing Neeb and Scarlet. I saw Bly's online, but I'm not sure if he's around. Hello, David Lee. Hello, everyone who's just tuning in. Go ahead and hit that like button. If you would be so kind, that would be awesome. Go ahead and give it a slam-a-jam, a slappa, whatever you want to call it. Player versus Astromi. Darn it, I missed it. Skillis is here, which is cool. Hello, David Peterson. Hello, William Milne. I know that my hellos are probably coming through a little bit late. That's because there's the usual delay on these streams. Oh, I apologize for that ear pillage. Is Bjorn here? I see Speak Now's online. Bjorny boy? M. Canning? No, I don't think M. Canning's around. Yeah, go ahead and slap that like button, please, guys. It's appreciated. Once again, I just rolled out of bed. and then was like, oh god, it's 4 p.m. I know that I sound like some kind of degenerate saying that, but I work till the evening, so I hope you guys will buy me some grace. Let me just link you guys the bracket if you like. There's the invite. Audio's still here. We're still here. We're still hanging in there. Looks like the stream. Nick Baker says, making pizza, time for some laughing games. I hope you're gonna be sharing that pizza with everyone. Not to call you out or anything. Alright, so we're gonna be having Spy taking on Nightmare. Spy is 5k Zerg. It's still gonna be a tall order for him, make no mistake. But who knows, maybe he can make something happen. Love your Alpha Star coverage. I'm glad you enjoy it. I think the videos are going to be good. Could have something very cool for you guys, perhaps, in the future. Who knows? Let's see. Usual stuff. My watch just fell off. Okay. All right. I apologize that this one's been a bit slow to get started, everyone. That's how these cups usually are over here, doing EPT, but I honestly love doing them. I love talking to you guys, even through the void delay. And this definitely hasn't swapped over. There we go. Scene switcher, why hath thy betrayed me? Anyway. You guys should be able to see what's going on, what's cooking. In the top right-hand side, it is a pleasure for me to be casting him for the first time today. It is Spy. And in the bottom left-hand side of the map, it is Nightmare. I'm unsure if Nightmare's on a team at the minute. I think he is a lone agent. I still hate how I Google Nightmare SC2 and it doesn't come up with the player. It's actually so bizarre. Liquipedia is usually so good. Like, if I want to find Nightmare, I have to go to the Global Starcraft League, scroll down, click players, and find out he's on Team Envy. It's so weird how he doesn't come up through any Google searches. BRB, gotta get the oven mad. West Coast? West Coast, best coast. Alright, and I apologize that I haven't really been covering the game. We've got an early-ish pool out of Spy, seeing as how he did have his natural block, but Zergs are used to that these days. The Zergy boy is getting his stuff going. Nightmare's going Cybercore, the usual jazz. Okie-dokie. Just making sure that everything's coming through fine. I see we've got 11 viewers and 5 likes. Can we try and even those numbers up, please, ladies and gentlemen? That would be awesome. Yeah, that would be great. Let's take a look. We've got a Stargate on the production tab. Okay, yes, I do apologize that for the first series of these, it's kind of just like, it's kind of dog doo-doo, guys, if I'm being honest with you. And by that, I'm not talking about the games at all. I'm talking about the fact that I'm usually trying to do a million things at once. Like, just get things going. Alright. Clickety-clackety, we've got the Lings attacking the wall, and oh my gosh, Spy has actually gone for a drone pull with the Lings. There's not that many Lings here for him. His drones and Lings are doing their best. The shield battery is about done for Hurricane, though, so this Adept will be fine. Noble attempt by Spy. The Lings are actually targeting down the battery. They very well may get it as the drones work on the other side of this pylon. This is actually going to be really darn close. Oh my gosh. Is Nightmare gonna lose this game? Is he gonna be getting cheesed out? He's got an Oracle on the way, which will really change this up a bit. However, there's still mining back on the Spy's side of the map. And this actually happened in the last cup. We saw someone lose who was a favorite to this build. This is an awesome Zerg build. Yeah, Lings and drones should just still be rallying on in non-stop. There is now a pylon building. A battery starting. I'm not sure I like how Spy fought there, seeing as how he kind of ceased production. Yeah, he should have had more Lings rallying, but he started to transition out of this. There's some more Lings. He's now working away on this wall. The Oracle's out of energy. A Void Ray snuck out, but we all know how slow Void Rays are. I think that this should have been a continued all-in sort of fashion for Spy. Instead, now he's just gonna be in a very tough spot as he's squeezing out drones behind this, but he's up against the Protoss. He's got the Stargate and all that jazz. Yeah, 7 probes have died, so 14 exist for Nightmare. I feel like that's enough for him to come back with, but maybe Spy can do something. He does have his spores on the way. He has been producing a good number of drones. So yeah, good attempt by Spy. Okay. Yeah, everything still looks good. No slices till y'all slap that like button, says William Milne. Yes, if you want pizza, you guys must like it. 6 drones go down for Spy, which is very rough. I don't know if he should have kept going with that all-in, but I really got to give it to him for trying that. Really got to give it to him. Alright, the Void Ray hunting Overlords, catching 2 or 3. 2 Overlords. Yeah, Spy is in an irrecoverable position. He's trying to get up a natural base, but the Void Ray can put a stop to that. Queen's coming in and may be able to save this. He actually just grabs another Overlord. So Spy's down to... he was down to just the base supply. Oh gosh. Oh gosh is all I can say. Okie-dokie. Let's take a look at Twilight Council on the way for Nightmare. He's now up to a healthy 30 probes against a 25 drone Zerg. The Void Ray is being a pain working away on this base. A couple of Adepts come in. They are getting pushed away by the Lings. So that's at least good for Spy, but losing the mining time is not. The Void Ray trying to work away on this base is now being targeted by the Queen, but the problem is she's by herself. She's by herself. Transitioning drones are going to be in trouble. This Void Ray has just given a lot of grief to Spy. And, I mean, another Queen comes forward. The Oracle doesn't have the energy to quite turn on its pulsar beam, or now it does, but it's a little bit late. So looks like the base will stay alive, so success as far as that's concerned. Alright, all I can say is go ahead and hit that like button, ladies and gentlemen. I promise that I'll get more focused on the games and everything as the day rolls on a bit. 2 Adepts now into the 3rd base again. The Zerg player doesn't really have much to deal with this. 7 Lings coming forward as more and more drones dying. Simon Says No, that is an awesome name by the way, says, saw the invite on Discord. That is why we joined the Discord. That is why we joined the Discord. Void Ray now working away on this spawning pool. The Spore or a Queen could come to help deal with this. Probably won't get it. Alright, we see a Hydra Den's now on the way for Spy, but when you're a 38 drone Zerg making Hydras, you're going to be in a very tough spot. Seeing as how Nightmare, he's got Blink on the way, he's got a good number of sentries. The Visual Bard says, why only use some of the drones in an early rush like that? The reason is that the drones aren't actually meant to fight. The main purpose, well, they're meant to fight, but their primary purpose isn't fighting. Their primary purpose is doing a mineral walk. So then the drones get on the other side of the Adept or whatever units in the wall. It's not actually about the pure bulk of the drones. And then with about 8 drones back at home, you can rally a good number of lings. So the drones are meant for the break, and then some stay back at home to keep mining so that you can spam more and more lings as the Zerg. Alright, Spy's trying to hold on here. He's got up to a healthy 56 drones, but the problem is he hasn't made any units and Nightmare is crossing the map. I'm pretty sure this is just going to be a quash, seeing as how Nightmare's on 7 gates, and he's going to be able to warp in a good number of Stalkers to go with that. Hydras are now starting to be produced, but it seems like it's going to be a little bit too little too late. And I'm going to go mobile, guys, so if you excuse me, we are going on up. Alright, the Stalkers are coming on in. Sentries en masse. That's interesting. Alright, well, Nightmare takes game number 1, as expected. And we will wait for an invite to the next game. Good attempt by Spy, I'll say. Real good attempt by him. Unfortunately, Nightmare is the Code S Protoss. And we load into the next game. Okay. All right. GLHFs get called, as in the bottom left, we have none other than Spy. And in the top right, he is Nightmare. Going for a very, very quick probe across the map. Logical decision, seeing as how he's going to be getting cheese. Okay. So, an early pool. This is one of the things that you do when you're up against a player who's considered a favorite over you. We see Nightmare now comes in with the probe. He's gonna be like, oh yeah, you want to take your natural? No way, son, no way. In reality, Spy does not want to take his natural. He wants to cheese the bejeez out of you, Nightmare. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button if you'd be so kind. Alright, so an extra gateway going up for Nightmare. He's a good Protoss, so he should know how to hold these. Code S. What is Code S? Code S is the highest level Korean Starcraft 2 tournament that there is. And it's the cream of the cream. Guys, Code S is no joke. Hold on, let me just make sure. Yeah. Code S is the cream of the cream as far as StarCraft 2 is concerned. It's got the best players in the world at it. Like, that's where Maru is, that's where Byun is, that's where Dark is, where Zest is, Rogue, all the best are in Code S for the most part. We've got a lair on the way for Spy to follow this up. Now, if that ain't the strangest thing you've ever seen, I don't know what is. A lair is not common play at this stage. Lings are working away, trying to get around that Zealot. Trying to bait it out. Nightmare's Chrono boosting out 2 Stalkers, interestingly enough. Not Adepts. We'll see what the plan is with the lair for Spy. Like, it's either got to be Nidus or a Dropper Wood, right? A Stalker actually gets trapped outside the wall, and the Lings will get a surround on it. That's rather good. It does cost him quite a few Lings to get that, however. Alright, it's a Nidus for him. It's a 1-base Nidus. 1-base Nidus play. Nightmare now feeling confident, starts up a Nidus. He's got a couple of Adepts on the way, however. The problem is, at this point in the game, is that when it comes down to pure numbers, like, you can make all the Lings in the world, but, like, probes can just be pulled, and probes are no joke. Like, if you've got probes buffering for the Adepts, assuming you're in the right position as Nightmare, you're fine. I think. It's not a guarantee. There's a chance Nightmare could still lose. It's going to be 27 Lings spilling through that Nidus against 25 probes, a Zealot, 2 Adepts, and a Stalker. There's nothing else on the way for Nightmare. He does have a battery at the natural, but these Lings will circumvent that. And now here comes the Nidus play. Nightmare, all of a sudden, with his Adepts across the map, is going to be in a world of bother. He's got his 2 Adepts crossing to Spy's side of the map to try and get some damage done, but of course that means they're not here to defend. Even the 1 Queen has came here for Spy. Nightmare chooses to run the probes away from this. Probably the right call to fight near that shield battery. Looks like the Zealot's going to be getting surrounded by the Lings outside of range from the shield battery. That's a big deal. More and more Lings coming forward, getting damage done on those probes, burning through that shield battery's health. Another shield battery is about to finish up. This is going to give the Lings some more life in this. The problem is, the Adepts on the other side of the map were cleaned up. Nightmare's in quite a bit of trouble right now if we take a look. The Lings are engaging the Adepts. However, the battery overcharge has kicked in. More and more Lings are coming forward. It is 7 drones to 10 probes. If Nightmare can either, or if Spy can either kill off the probes, kill off just even a few more probes, or if he can just kill off all of what Nightmare has, then he'll be in a fine spot. We see the battery overcharge is gone. Nightmare taps out. Spy takes the map off a Nightmare with a great all-in. Well done by Spy. Well done. Ah, well done. All right, it's 1-1. Okay, so it's 1-1. Here we are. In the top left-hand side of the map. He took a map off Nightmare. It is Spy. And who knows, I mean, maybe he can pull off another cheeky one. In the bottom right, going for a very early scout, it is Nightmare. Having to play against this early Zerg cheesiness. Looks like for Spy, we've got a double extractor trick into what looks like a hatchery. I get the feeling that this is so that you can get the hatch before the probe scout gets in to block you, which is really interesting. And then he just starts up a gas. I assume he'll start up a pool. And then has got himself a nice cheeky opening and all. Drone starts up a pool. Nightmare will see this, but this is still a very early pool. Make no mistake. Drone scout even, so Spy's a little bit concerned about getting counter-cheesed. Double gas play for Spy, or just an extractor trick again, since he did delay his workers. Alright. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning into this coverage of this cup. This is our first best of 3. If you enjoy these matches, go ahead and hit that like button. It's appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you're tuning in but aren't a sub. Consider becoming a member if you do want to support the channel and get various perks and whatnot. And consider... yeah, just all that. All that's good. Keep an eye out for the next video and stuff too. Hit the bell icon, actually. Join the bell gang. As we wait for this game to get started, we see that Nightmare has gone for a normal Nexus timing upon scouting this. Interestingly enough, Spy is still mining gas. So this means that it's not going to be just a Ling Flood. As, of course, once you start your speed, there's nothing more you need for a Ling Flood. There's a chance that this could be another Nidus play. I think that's actually the most likely play out of him, so we'll see if he's going to start up a lair. No, it's a Baneling nest. Okay. Alright. The Bane train. Gonna be getting started. I love that Spy's just playing so aggressive. Like, this is honestly so good. I think that Nightmare might have wisened up to this now that he's up against a very aggressive player. But we take a look. I mean, he's just making a lot of lings. Soon enough, he'll be able to fire up like 5-6 Banelings, crash on in here. And that's all that may be needed for a complete wall break. If Spy wins this, he's a legend. Guys, Spy is a god if he wins this. He's around my MMR, but he seems to be a much better player than me. Alright, the Banelings are done. The Lings are ready to run. A battery's on the way. The battery's almost done. Here come the Banes. They're going to try and crash it in. The battery overcharge gets used, but that's going to just... the Adepts are just going to tank and tank and tank due to that shield battery. So Spy's going to have to try and crash through the wall by killing off the gateway. That battery overcharge is doing work, and yeah, this is going to be a hold from Hurricane. Great positioning on the Adepts to continuously secure the wall. It was a noble attempt, but fool me once, says Hurricane, or Nightmare, pardon me. How pro gamers can maintain 450 APM across games and not get carpal tunnel amazes me. Some do. Yeah, some do get wrist pains. A lot of it does come to how you sit, though. How you sit, your positioning, whether you do stretches, go to the gym, I think, too. Cats 2 zeroed eggs. That's impressive. So Nightmare is gonna go on to face the winner of Skillus versus Momin. Alright, looks like we found our next match. Julio? Or would that be pronounced Julio? Forgive me for not knowing. Nather says, hey, started following your StarCraft 2 content because of your Alpha Star videos. Now enjoying the pro games as well. Keep it up. You cast very well. Thank you so much for the kind words. Means a lot. Yeah. You guys always be checking out those pro games if you're an Alpha Star fan, is all I can say. Because the world of pro StarCraft is consuming. Alright. We have our next match. It's gonna be Jim Rising taking on a guy called Saberlight. If you guys do enjoy the stream and you're enjoying this, please go hit that like button. It's just right there. There's the subscribe one, a little to the right of that, and then there's the bell that you can ring. And yes, I know I look like I just rolled out of bed. That's because I quite literally did. Just came in. Is this tournament for some of the best players in America? This is an open tournament on the American region. Sweater. So anyone can play in this cup. And it's always a mixed bag of who signs up. But usually there is a few of the best players in the scene. Yeah. So yeah, this is the EPT America's Cup, number 43. These cups happen every week. Alright, now let's take a look here. In the top left-hand side of the map, it's Jim Rising. And taking him on in the bottom right, it is Saberlight. Playing for Gilgamesh Esports. Jim Rising in this matchup is arguably the favorite by quite a margin. So we'll see, but of course the last match was very exciting, even though that one of the players was definitely a favorite over the other. If you guys want to be a god and actually help out the stream, go ahead and follow my Trovo. We'll be doing some events there, and it takes about 2 seconds to make an account. Now let's take a look. We've got Jim going for a probe scout, checking out what's going on. Gonna be like, hey, guy. He's gonna come in with his probe, see that it's a barracks that's building. Cybercore into Nexus, usual stuff. Okay, now the question is, what is Saberlight gonna do? This is honestly one of the things that I feel is the toughest to do, matchup-wise, which is why people feel that TVP is really hard to do. If you're a Terran player and you're playing against a Protoss player who's above your skill, except I'm actually saying it backwards, it can be hard. It can be very hard to overcome. but completely disregard me, because Jim's the Terran who's the favorite, whereas the Protoss player is not. Alright, a bunker on the way for Jim. What kind of prize are we talking about for the winner? The winner of this cup walks away with $200 US, second place 100, and then third and fourth each get $50 respectively. However, first and second place get 10 and 5 EPT points respectively, which goes towards qualifying them for the IEM Katowice Championship, which is a $400,000 tournament. Okay, so Jim had something started, then he canceled that. I'm not sure what it was. Stargate's on the way for Saber Light, so that's going to be his tech of choice. Richard says, hello from Kansas City. Hello, I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Hello from Germany. And oh, we're actually going to be having a mech play out of Jim Rising. Adept is chasing down Jim's Reaper. If he gets it, that will be nice for him. Jim's Reaper gets the scout, but nothing more. So that's actually pretty good for the Protoss. We see a couple more gateways on the way for Saber, so he'll be going up to 3 gates with an Oracle. So we should either see a 4th base start soon or something. Looks like he's busy microing his Adept, and the Adept gets picked off. But he is floating a little bit of money. A little bit of money. Queues up a 3rd base. 4 minutes, reasonably timed. Looks like Jim is going into an armory, interestingly enough. Is Jim gonna mass Widowmine this dude? I bet he's gonna mass Widowmine the shit out of poor Saberlight. Pardon my French. Oracle comes in, sees Jim building that. Oh, he flies into the Widowmine, though. Oracle dead. Good job, Widowmine. Saberlight says, Kappa, XD. I'm totally dead. He does scout what Jim's going for. And I think if you see this as Saberlight, you gotta be like, okay, what's he doing? He's got an armory. He's got a 3rd CC, so he's probably not going for a big push. And he's got a factory. So it must be Widowmines, right, if you scout this. So he does start up an Observer. I'd like to see a Forge get started up for him, as you definitely want cannons against a mass Widowmine player. And then just keep making a ton of workers, I think. And there's a chance that Jim could throw this game, potentially, by going for a wacky build like this. No drilling clauses started yet for Jim, which is interesting, but it's definitely going to be the mass Widowmine. There's the double Forge. And yeah, I would really like to see just cannons, like double cannons in each base, once Saberlight identifies that this is a mass Widowmine play. Scan goes down for Jim Rising, trying to tag that Observer. Doesn't get it, but a mine does kill a Stalker. Saber's trying to micro his heart out, but it's not working. Comfy 60 degrees. How many is that in Celsius? That's what? 60 degrees is really cold, isn't it? Alright, Blink is on the way now for Saberlight. There's the drop going in for Jim. The lack of cannons disturbs me. The lack of cannons really, really disturbs me. When you're going up against someone who's made a lot of Widow Mine. Oh, there's one mine. Oh dear. Oh dear. That's 8 dead probes. And number 2 does get pulled away from. So a few more dead probes, but if he had built cannons again, he would have been in a much better spot, I feel. He recalls an Observer, but yeah. Where are the cannons at, man? Where are the cannons? Build some cannons in a 4th base, but it looks like Jim is actually just going to push out. turn this into a nice old charge. Charge on in. Wouldn't mind firing again. Not being dealt with yet. Battery's going up for Saber. Jim's push is looking real nasty. Real nasty. Alright, there is a lot of stalkers out. Mine fires again in the main base. Jim's relying on his tanks to help zone away from this. I mean, there is a ton of stalkers for Saber. Like, an absolute ton. Problem is, there's going to be another mine drop coming in somewhere. Jim's working away on the shield battery. It looks like Saber's just going to go for it. Eats a Widow Mine shot, then backs out. He's either got to go or not go. You can't middle ground this. He's microing his stalkers back when I think in reality he'd be better just blinking on top of this. Widow Mine drop did hit the third base, killed off 7 workers. Jim's entire push will be cleaned up, however. So Saber does clean this up, and I honestly think Saber just needs to all in right now. He's just got to all in. Clean up that mine at this base. Oh no. Clean up the mine. Clean up the mine. Oh dear. Oh no. Here it comes. Boom. 6 more dead probes. Ouch. Yeah, Saber is not macroing up well enough, so he needs to kill Jim, and Jim is at a transition point, just getting his bio online. So yeah, I think we 100% need to see a push from Saber, and I think he could maybe win if he went for one, but he's just trying to clean up Widow Mines. Yeah. Like, Jim's play hasn't been perfect this game, just the build he went for was very whack, left and vulnerable, and that mine still hadn't been cleaned up. Oh my god. Like, if Saber had gone for an all-in, the supply was relatively even. Now Jim's just gonna surge ahead. Grassy Tiger says, go Protoss. I got bad news if you're a fan for the Protoss. 16 Celsius. Okay, that's pretty good. It's colder than that here. We've got 36 people watching, which is awesome. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning in. If you do enjoy the stream, please go hit that like button. Just slap it. Marine drop into the natural base of Saberlight. It's like there was another Widow Mine drop too, so Saber is losing all of his workers. And I think now he's gonna go for an attack, but this is way too late. Like, Saber had everything he needed to make a big attack happen. And then he kind of waited way too long. He's gonna have Archons and more Zealots now, but the problem is Jim's bio is gonna be way more. Jim wouldn't have had Stim if he attacked before. And I mean, I gotta respect him for going in for it, and I still think there's a chance. But it's not gonna be easy. So Jim's getting pulled back now. But there's all these tanks and mines and a lot of bio. Like, this will melt the Zealots, I fear. Zealots being elevated into the main base, but yeah, this is a bit of a disjointed attack from Saber. A lot of his Zealots were not fighting in this, they're just in the main base. Yeah, just as Stalkers are left, as his Stalkers melt, his Zealots in the main base will eventually be cleaned on up. And Jim's got more than enough force to go across the map and kill his opponent. On this side of the map, Saber has lost all of his workers. 6 remain. GG will get called. Jim Rising takes game number 1. And I honestly think Saber could have maybe won that if he had gone for the attack earlier. I honestly believe. Hello there, Sushi. Alright, we'll wait for the next game. If you guys could actually do me a favor and go follow my Trovo, that would be appreciated. We're aiming for 50 followers. Takes about 2 seconds to make an account. Hello, Christoph. "40 viewers, you guys are the best. You're the absolute best. You're the best in the West, you're the best around. No one's ever gonna let you down. Because you're the best around." Warm for this time of the year. Oh yeah, if you're in the Midwest, it should be pretty cold by now, I think. Here it's reasonably cold. It's not freezing, but it's definitely not warm. All right, in the bottom right, we've got Jim Rising. And in the top left, it's gonna be a tall order for him to come back and win this one at Saberlight. I do like the way Saberlight played, but I honestly think he maybe could have won that game if he went for the all-in. All right, so into the next match. That actually reminded me, I wanted to check the forecast. Do we have any snow coming? The answer is nope, it gonna rain. Probe scout for Saber. Scouting Jim's base, saying as Jim's just gone for the cheeky barracks out on the map. Not even a far proxy. Just far enough to mess with his opponent. The Saber goes for the Cyber Core. He'll probably start up a Zealot in response to this, and then Jim will just go into a normal Reaper expand. Well, this will really throw the Protoss off. Alright, let's take a look here. We have got Warp Gate on the way, Nexus. Twilight Council as a response to a cheese like this is an interesting one. The Reaper's now going to show up in the main base of Saber. He's going to be like, this guy's a little bit late, isn't he? The Nexus is on the way, though. Alright. Third command center on the way for Jim. Still just scouting out with the Reaper, which has killed 2 probes. Zealot run-bys can be so good in the mid-game when their attention is elsewhere. They absolutely can be. Problem is, it's all about the timing for an attack like that. Adept comes in for Saber, actually kills off an SCV. It's all about the timing, because if your opponent is basically just sitting back at home, then you're good. Then they'll just defend the attack pretty easily. Teleris just followed the Trovo. Thank you so much. You are a god, sir. I appreciate it. We're slowly driving that Trovo up. Hopefully we'll be having another event on there soonish. $29 likes. Can we round that up to a nice 30? Alright, we see Saber. He's going for a few gateways, a Prism, and Blink, so I guess he's just going to go for an all-in. And as we can see, he's already fallen behind as he's not very saturated at his natural base, so he does have to hope an all-in can work. The problem is Jim Rising. Probably no stranger to this kind of attack, has already got one tank up a bunker, a second tank on the way. I mean, there's going to be 3 Stalkers plus 4 from a warp in, 7 Stalkers. Not really enough to crack this easily, I don't think. Jim's tank count is just going to continue to grow, too. There's that warp in. Okay, 10 Stalkers in all. Alright, the Stalkers, they go, they blink on top of the tank, they do get it, that's rather nice. Looks like they will crack the bunker, probably going to blink out after that. One misses the boat, but that was actually a really good start for Saber. Jim does have a decent count of Marauders, however, he's going to tuck a tank into the corner. Bring another tank down. Oh, bit of misplay from Jim, puts one of his tanks right on the front, loses it. Now going to lose a bit of his bio. Saber's probably going to want to warp in some more Stalkers as soon as he can. He is eating some tank shots. Stalkers are being pushed back. He hasn't warped in anymore, which I feel was a mistake. He throws up a few more gateways, but yeah, really bad trade for Saber there. When you're doing a rush, guys, getting your units out is like the most important part. Like, microing a Stalker to save a Stalker, it's like, yeah, that's good. But it's not worth it when you're going to be not warping in some more of your Stalkers, in a sense, if that makes it... If that's logical. Like, why save one Stalker by microing when you can maybe lose that Stalker and get your other warping off in time? Particularly when it's all about snowballs in situations like this. But yeah, Jim Rising has totally just crushed what Saber has. Looks like some more Stalkers are going to warp in. Saber is up against the Terran, who's now got Stim and Bio, so the Stalkers really lose their effectiveness. Some blink to the natural, but they're going to be surrounded here. Oh gosh. Saving what he can with the Prism, but that's just what he can, not all of them. So that's really painful there for Jim. Or for Saber. Saber's got a third base on the way now, but he's only at 37 probes. He's starting charge. He doesn't have a forge up, so no attack upgrades. No Robo Bay. No Robo. Yeah, he's a pretty dead nerd, if we're being honest. Jim scans, looking for an observer, but there is none. All right. Few Zealots being warped in, but like it's going to be a similar situation to the last game. Like Saber may have a lot of Zealots and Stalkers, but Jim's going to have Terran Bio with Stim. Alright. A lot of Zealots warping in for Sabers, Stalkers. I think we're going to see more of the same thing. But you can't all-in a Terran when the Terran's got double your supply. Like, this is just not going to work out. This is... Close your eyes, guys. This is going to be bad. These Zealots are going to melt. They are going to melt big time. Looks like he's going to try and sneak around to Jim Rising's base. But Jim Rising's actually just macroed up like a machine. Look at this, 175 Terran supply. That is a big old Terran ball. Now, if the Protoss maybe had Disruptors or Psystorm, I'd say, yeah, maybe there's a chance. Realistically, from the position Saber put himself into, no. But look at this, look at the bio just melting the Zealots. That Protoss army just disappeared. Oh god, that was terrible. Jim Rising, or Saber's like, I need a Colossus, man. You need more than the Colossus. You need like half a dozen Colossus. Jim is just chasing this army to the edge of the earth. It's 98 supply to 178. As expected, the favorite will take this one. It is kind of nice casting some matches of other players, though, so thanks for Saber for coming out, playing in a cup like this. I certainly didn't sign up to play in this, because I knew I'd run into a Jim Rising and I'd die. The Zealots melt under the 1-1 of Jim Rising and the mass bio. GG gets called. Jim Rising takes the 2-0 victory. No surprise there. And we are heading into another match. All right. So we'll keep our eyes out for the next match. Skillets versus Nightmare. Okay. Oh, Nightmare's out of game. Alright, looks like we're jumping right into Skilless Nightmare. Alright, that's awesome. So we're going to be having ourselves a really good PvP, guys. Skilless, an awesome Russian Protoss taking on an awesome Korean Protoss. And we're just loading into this game, which is awesome. Basically zero downtime here today. I'm going to link that trophy link once again. If you guys do want to do me a favor, click that link, log in, make an account. Takes about 30 seconds. Hit follow on the channel. It's appreciated. Or if you just want to hang out on YouTube and support the stream, make sure to go ahead, slap that like button. If we can even up the viewer count with the like count, that would be amazing. And then, of course, hit the subscribe button if you aren't. Join the Discord, which is linked down below. And consider becoming a member if you do want to support the channel. But here we are in this best of 3, getting started. Representing Cascade, it's Skilless. And in the top left, it's Nightmare. Now, deciding a favorite for this match would actually be a hard thing to do. I want to say that Skilless is probably the favorite. I get the feeling that it's going to be Skilless. But anything can happen. Nightmare is no slouch. PvP is a crazy matchup. Forgive me as I have a drink. Might actually sneak off to have a snack at some point. Alright, so we've got a couple of gateways on the way for both players. If we really want to cheese this, I can just lock on to Chicken Man, follow his camera, so he's going to be observing. And I'm going to step away for 2 seconds, guys, enjoy the game, and then I'll be back. Alright guys, I got a cookie. That should tide me over, seeing as how I didn't have time for breakfast. Hello, yeah, right now we've got this proxy coming in. Yeah, Skill is holding on. He's got a Void Ray, which should really help him out, and he's also got 3 shield batteries, which is no joke. However, his pylon could be vulnerable. 1 battery gets picked off. Other battery tries to save another battery with the battery overcharge, keeping that battery alive. Is actually a humongous deal. There's now 2 Void Rays out, putting out a lot of damage. Due to the battery overcharge, they're gonna be able to be kept alive by that other shield battery. Now being pulled back, though, as they took a lot of damage. But yeah, the Stalker count of Nightmare gets reduced to nothing, and Skillus holds with Void Rays and shield batteries. Able to defend the all-in, and effectively surviving on 2 bases, whereas Nightmare is pretty much done here. He's gonna try and go for 2 Adept Shading into the main base of Skillus to try and get something done. That's a tall order, though, as there's still 3 Void Rays to compete with. The proxy has been found. These Adepts do make it into the main base of Skillus. That's a big deal. We'll see what damage he's able to get done. He needs to micro these well. Looks like he is grabbing quite a few probes. It's still going to be very hard for Nightmare to potentially come back in this game, seeing as how there is just 3 Void Rays crossing the map. Nightmare's warped in 2 Stalkers. He's got a battery going just now. But 3 Stalkers to 3 Void Rays is not good odds for the Protoss player. There needs to be at least one more warp and getting off for Nightmare to survive. But then there's the problem that gets raised. Even if he survives, he's still in a terrible spot because he's just on one base against two. Nightmare's just dragging out his death. Basically, the Voiders just cut off one of those Stalkers. Yeah. Skillis saying, from Russia with love, as he obliterates the Stalkers, cuts up the shield battery that was overcharged, and Nightmare will fall. GG gets called. Skillis able to take the match. Just like that. Copenhagen-das, hello there. On Trovo too. Wah! Aw snap, Laughing Game's getting lit. Let's go, is what he says. Getting lit, not so much as I have to work later. But if you can follow the Trovo, that is appreciated. I am live streaming on 2 places. And now we wait for the next match. That was a really good game between the two of them. Goes to show the proxy versus non-proxy interaction. All right. We wait, we wait, we wait. No invite from them just yet. There. No, that's parting. All right, we're loading into the next game. Skillis versus Nightmare. Match number 2. A PvP. Best of 3. And the fact that these two are playing is really showing us that the tournament's heating up. And now, in the bottom right-hand side of the map, he defended that attack and was able to win the game. It's Skillis. Rocking the classic Nexus skin. And in the top left, it's Nightmare. Zizzler saying, hate that battery buff. To which case I'll say, would you prefer if we still had the mothership core? Huh? Huh? I think not. Alright, so the PvP continues on here as we take a look. Alright, Nexus on the way for Nightmare this game, so going for the 1-gate expand. Skillis going for the more traditional 2-gateway. This is an interesting topic in PvP, whether players can go for 1 gates or not. We do see Skillis being a bit of a jerk with his probe, trying to mess up the mining. I like that he's doing that. Or, Nightmare was doing that too, Skillis, pardon me. Okay. Pylon getting thrown up for Nightmare. You gotta have that pylon there in order to get batteries, in order to defend against an attack, which is likely to hit you if you do go for a build like this. And we've actually got Skillis returning the favor with a proxy robo out on the map. Now, Nightmare's got his probe in Skillis' base, so he's identifying the fact that there's just the one pylon. So he knows that there's a proxy out on the map somewhere, and he is looking for it. He knows it's out there. Robo is on the way for Nightmare, so it's going to be Robo versus Robo. Of course, Skillis' is earlier, but then Nightmare's just on the 1 gateway, so It's going to be a bit tough for him to defend. We'll have to see him start sandbagging with shield batteries as soon as possible. Get an Immortal on the way out immediately. Make sure he's got a Chrono Boost to charge that out. And then there we go, there's one battery on the way. We'll need to see at least a second battery, maybe another pylon to back it up if he can, because Skillus has already got his Immortal on the way. It's already being Chrono Boosted out. We see Skillus now throwing up a pylon outside of Nightmare's base. This is going to be to get his own shield batteries to heal up his units. We'll see the Stalkers engaging each other. Alright, they're engaging. It's a micro battle. Looks like Nightmare might be coming out on the worst end of this. His shield battery will finish up to help repel this. The problem is an Immortal is going to be on the way out now for Skillus soon. And there it is, walking across the map. Nightmare's own Immortal is about halfway done. He's got another battery on the way, which is important. He's got another Stalker on the way, as his Warp Gate isn't done yet. The players are engaging each other, but look at this. Skillus just targeting down the shield battery, and without the shield battery, it's going to be a very, very hard position for Nightmare to hold. He's got his own Immortal coming down now. He's throwing up another battery. His Stalkers will be easy pickings. He has to pull the probes here. No exceptions. Looks like his extra shield battery did just finish up, which is a very big deal. He can now pop off those Stalkers of Skillus one shot, but oh, the battery was unpowered, and the Immortal was not healed. Just in the blink of an eye, it gets picked off, and now this situation is going to be very, very rough for Nightmare. Losing an Immortal against a player who's about to have his second Immortal out is just disastrous, so Nightmare is in a really tough spot. His Warp Gate is finished, but look at this. Skillus just elevators into the main base. He knows there's only one pylon powering this. Probes have to be pulled. The Immortal is just about out, but it looks like that the pylon's going to be unpowered, and that should be game as Nightmare loses almost all of his production. He's down to one gateway. He's trying to scramble, trying to get up another pylon as the Stalkers put out as much damage as they can, but he's losing 10 probes. Way, way more probes. And, yeah, that's just disastrous for Skillus. Completely disastrous. Or disastrous for Nightmare, pardon me. Yeah, this looks like it's going to be a completely solid victory here from Skillus, 2-0ing Nightmare. Nightmare did manage to get out that Immortal. He does have that battery, but Skillus can once again just elevate her into the main base, find that one pylon. Yeah, we take a look. Alright, Stalker's trying to target down that Immortal. One of Skillus's did die, but now the batteries are running out of juice. Another Immortal is there for Skillus. We need to see a battery overcharge for Nightmare, but the battery just gets targeted down. And yeah, it's just a slow death at this point. Skillus has got this one in the bag. GG gets called. Skillus is able to take it. Well done. Well done indeed. And 2-0 for Skill over Nightmare, sending the Korean off the Americas server as Russia continues to try and conquer America. Jim Rising versus Jason. Ooh. Darn it, looks like it's already underway. That would have been a good match. Oh, wait. Perfect! Right into another series. Jim Rising versus Juggernaut Jason should be a good match. Very even, I think. As Jason, he's a Terran main, whereas Jim is kind of dabbling about with his races. Alright, we are waiting for Jim Rising versus Jason. Should have that invite soon. Yeah, if you guys can go ahead and hit that like button, it would be appreciated. Go ahead and slap it. Just treat it a little rough, you know. I feel like my internet just had a stroke. Well, looks like we're hopping around a little bit. Alright, and we are ready. It's going to be a TVT. Jim Rising decided to sign up this cup playing Terran. His Terran, which is 4.7k, his Zerg is 5.8, and his Protoss is 5k. So Terran seems to be the weakest of his races, but he's going to give it the good old college try. Taking on Jason in a TVT. Thanks so much to everyone that's sticking around. Okay, Jim is playing Zerg, so apparently you can just race swap. Neat. Getting a little dark in here, thanks to daylight saving time already, so let me turn on that light. Let there be light. Okay, this best of three is getting started. In the bottom right, it's Juggernaut Jason. And in the top left, it's Jim Rising. Playing Zerg. In a TVZ between these two players. It should be a great match, I think. I'm honestly unsure who the favorite is. But I know it's going to be good. It's gonna be good, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, yes, yes. Indeed, indeed. Fantastic. Good Starcraft. The cream of the crop. And this cup is just getting started. Like, this is still a round of 32 match, guys. And the best part about these cups is that they just get better and better and better and better. Alright, hatchery first for Jim, normal opening for Jason, no cheesy shenanigans just yet. I say just yet, but that doesn't mean that there necessarily will be any cheesy shenanigans. Alright, so Jason's scouting out with an SCV, making sure that everything is normal. His Reaper's about to pop, so the SCV, yes, preemptive scout in a sense, but it gives you the peace of mind against the proxies. And I just saw that we broke 40 likes on this stream, so thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. If you guys didn't, if it was just like If it was like 10 of you guys watching, there's no way I'd be streaming these all the time. But seeing as how you guys do like to hang out and watch these, it's good fun. Reaper tosses down a grenade. Granada. We see Jason microing this Reaper as well as he can. Back and forth, back and forth. Then is gonna not jump into the main base. Looking for a third. No sign of that for Jim Rising. Maybe Jason's Reaper can deny that a little bit. The Lings are moving out, probably to try and secure a path for the Reaper, but we actually see Jim moving out with his Lings. Are we gonna try and sneak into Jason's base, grab a few SCVs? Sometimes Zergs do tricky moves like that. The Reaper's still scouting out, being like, no third just yet. Jason comes forward. Ain't seen too much. And speed is about to finish for Jim Rising, so these 4 Lings will have Ling speed. They could potentially run into Jason's base. Jim Rising now going to be securing up his 3rd base. Jason had to send the Reaper home because he knows it's speed time. A couple of Hellions moving out to join up with this. The one Marine pulls back a little bit. Maybe Jason suspects the Ling shenanigans. And it's actually going to be a fusion core on the way for Jason, which is pretty darn cool. And that fusion core, is that animation bugged out? Or is that just one of the different animations? Because, like, the fusion core looks like already done under there. Like, is that bugging out a little bit? That core looks like it's already finished. Maybe I just haven't looked too closely at it. Animation for a fusion core, but like that looks off to me. Maybe it's the skin. Anyway, Overlord does actually get picked off, which is quite nice for Jason. Of course, the battlecruiser rush was spotted, but that doesn't mean losing the Overlord's nice. 1 Marine for Jason doing good work. Good work. Jim Rising's firing up a few roaches, having to worry about the potential of Hellions just diving on in. And dive they very well may. For now, though, not yet. But yeah, this looks really darn good. Or not amazing, but it looks alright for both sides. Looks like it's going to be a really good match. Spores are now getting fired on up for both players. Jim Rising tucks his Spire next to a Spore. His Overlords are all congregating home. They're saying, dark times among us, dark times ahead of us, boys. Let's get back to base, where Mom will protect us, sitting near the Queen. The Hellions for Jason are going to come in, however there are roaches to shoo them away. Jason's getting up the factories, playing the usual mech style that he tends to do. Hellions working away there. Now going to be running into the main base of Jim Rising. Going to potentially cook up a good number of drones. We'll see what the losses are going to look like. So far, just 3, which isn't that much for this many Hellions. Mining time, of course, is being disrupted. This fire has been scouted, which is quite nice. But looks like that Jason will lose most of those units. Not getting much damage. Might actually grab another drone or 2. We shall see. Good micro from Jim so far. Doesn't quite save that 1 extra drone. So he loses 6 drones, his mining's disrupted. The battlecruiser is out, and the battlecruiser isn't teleporting across the map, but holy cow. Look at that, Jim Rising with a very, very big larva bank, spending it hard in order to get that drone count popping again, up to 61 drones, just like that. Still can go higher, though. Higher, more drones. Cute roach move out from Jim Rising as well. Gonna be sending these roaches towards the 3rd base of Jason, but quite notably, Jason hasn't actually moved out with those yet. This battlecruiser gonna try and shoo these roaches away, but 5 roaches can actually one-shot SCVs. I think it's just 3 to one-shot SCVs, so picks off a couple, messes with the mining of Jason a little bit. The Hellions can maybe finish off those 2 roaches, and they finish off 1. Doesn't get the 2nd. Jason's scanning, he sees the lair. Hasn't seen anything else, though, but he did see the spires. He could have thought that that was a spore crawler, possibly. But for now, the game's just going to continue on as Jason does fire up turrets for safety. He's got out the 1 battlecruiser. The 2 battlecruisers, actually, but no Yamato cannon for him. He starts that now, which seems to be a little bit late. I guess that's where he feels comfortable getting it out in his build, however. Just eventually going to have that keep the 2 BCs alive for the best visibility. There's 1 Corruptor coming forward. Takes more than one Corruptor to deal with a Battlecruiser. I know Corruptors are good, but they are not that good. Jason gets a Queen in the process of doing this. Battlecruiser's just going to teleport out. Hellions running away, kiting against the Lings. The Mutas, though, will pursue this home, and Jason is just going to have to stay back defensively. He's got out a couple Cyclones, which will help zone its Mutas. Jim Rising's number of the day does, however, seem to be 17, as he fires up another 17 drones behind this, which is going to put him at a very, very healthy number. Okay, more and more Mutas are on the way. So 6 Mutas on the way for Jim Rising. Jason's gonna have the battle cruisers to help zone them out. However, Mutas can be a problem for mech to deal with. It's an interesting dynamic. How the stronger mech units interact with the more mobile Zerg units that can also snowball to beat the stronger mech units. Yeah, it's really quite interesting. We see Jason getting up his 4th and 5th factory. It does take quite a while for that mech production to get online. We see 2 CCs on, or actually, no, pardon me. That's an extra factory. So Jason's throwing off 5 factories all at once, which is just going to give him really good mech production. Battle cruisers come on in. They are going to have Yamato cannon in about 5 seconds, so they can grab a few units. Targeting down some drones as they run away. Those Mutas coming in, but it's going to take more than 4 Mutas to deal with those BCs. A bit of a micro mistake from Jim Rising. Loses him an extra 2, and now these BCs can dump their Yamato cannons and teleport out. Teleport out. Teleport out. Is there no teleport? There was, but wow, Jason waiting to the last second, putting me on edge. Is he going to try and grab another Muta? Grabs a drone. Grabs a second drone. Gets on out of there. Wow, Jason with epic battle cruiser control, really playing with fire, maximizing the amount of damage. Like, I'm always on the fence as to whether that's worth it, playing so riskily. Those BCs getting so low, all it takes is an extra Corruptor or something to fly forward, and then you lose the BCs, but that was done amazingly by Jason, controlling those units very, very well. And if we do take a look, he got some good value. These BCs at 11 kills each, respectively. So that's drones, Mutas. Quite a good start for Jason. He's now going to zone the Zerg away from this base with his Cyclones, with his BCs. Jim Rising actually committing on top of this. Picks off... Yeah, actually completely just picks off the Cyclones. Picks off the Raven. The battle cruisers do end up zoning the Mutas away. That was like an extra 8 Mutas that died for that, but he got, what? 3, 4 Cyclones and a Raven, so kind of worth it. Keeping the Terran down as far as the anti-air goes is good, but the problem is that Jason, with his good economy at this point, is now just able to make a huge number of Cyclones. Hellions are going to have to zone out these Lings as they come forward. The battle cruiser's doing what they can, but the Cyclone count has grown profusely, and that really is going to zone out the Mutas. Jim Rising trying to make one of those technical attacks happen, but in the end, he did not have the supply he needed, and Jason is getting up to that high Cyclone count, which Mutas can't really deal with easily. Or if you need basically an unholy amount of Mutas to kill off a certain amount of Cyclones. Probably like, when there's around like 10 Cyclones, that's when as a Zerg you can't just dive on top of them easily, because the mech units have got a lot of EPT, they tank quite a bit. The battle cruiser's out on the map for Jason. He's actually snuck out another one. A freshy recruit is going to be flying around the map looking for some Zerg units to Yamato cannon to kill off. There's the Mutas. A couple of Yamatos are going to hit him. That's more Mutas dying for Jim. Expensive losses there. And now that there's 3 BCs, this is going to force out more Corruptors. Jason's going to find this hatchery. He's got to be careful now that the Muta count's higher about teleporting these out in time. Probably wants to teleport that one out now. There it goes. He gets 3 Mutas, probably going to get a 4th and a 5th. These are just negative trades for Jim Rising all across the board. Like, he's fighting with a non-critical amount of Mutas that you need in order to deal with these battle cruisers. Jason just teleports those out, but Jim Rising has lost 31 Mutas this game. The resources lost is 9,400 to 3,800. That is exceptional efficiency for Jason, and that is solely because of these battle cruisers, I'll say. Getting ridiculous amounts of damage done. The Terran player is about maxed out. He's happily mining off of 4 bases. We'll probably see him start to throw down an extra couple of orbital commands soon. Whereas Jim Rising, he's maxed out too. He's at a very healthy drone count, so he can't afford to take losses. He's got a ton of bases, but he'd have a lot more resources if he hadn't thrown away those Mutas. He'd have a much bigger bank. Maybe he'd have gone for more Infestors, or he'd have Lurkers already, who knows, but For now, we see Jason starting to push on in towards the Zerg. Anti-armor missile hits the Corruptors. The Cyclones will shred them as the battle cruisers just have to fall back, and the Corruptors are just being cut up by the Cyclones like it's nothing, massacring them as the Hellions and Cyclones just charge forward into the Hydralisk count. Able to take that fight straight up. It does cause big losses on both sides, but Jim Rising is hurting, having to basically reestablish his army from the ground up. The Hellions and Cyclones are now coming forward. They're going to be locking onto this hatchery. Going to kill that off after killing off another base. However, Jim Rising does come forward with a lot of lings. Most of the Hellions are gone, so the Cyclones are being less effective. But if we do take a look, there's minimal anti-air right now to deal with the battle cruisers. As a matter of fact, there's none. So the BCs alone just able to help Jason keep going. He's going to kill off the spines, lock onto these overlords. Yeah. This is really, really painful for Jim Rising. His economy's still pretty darn good, as he's got these couple of bases to the left-hand side, but he's just trying to squeeze out Hydras. And unless you get out a critical mass, you'll just get cut down one by one by this Terran army. We see some Ravagers coming forward now, looking for some good corrosive bile. Jim Rising trying to chase this Terran army off creep. Corrosive biles are going down, makes the Terran hesitate a bit. But if we do see Jim Rising having a hard time getting that supply up, he's making some lurkers, which is what he's going to use to try and stall this attack. But take a look right now. Jason trying to repel Jim Rising. Corrosive biles going down. Yeah, Jim's holding at the top of this ramp for now. He is going to have those lurkers finishing up, and lurkers are pretty good against Cyclones, but Jason has done a lot of damage. Behind this, he does have an extra command center on the way now. That might be a little bit late, but he has been replacing his Cyclones and Hellions non-stop, so it's understandable. We see the battle cruisers just shooting away on Jim Rising's units. The BCs are just barely staying alive during all this, as the Cyclones and Hellions have a good angle on the Zerg force. One of the battle cruisers is about to go down. We'll see if Jason's going to get that boy home or just keep him on the front lines. That is a very, very injured battle cruiser. It does get shot down by the Queen before it escapes. So that was a nice pickoff for Jim. Jason's dumping the auto cannon on the Hydras, basically just flexing right now as he's rallying in more and more units. Jim Rising is barely holding on for now, but looks like he will repel Jason. Supplies actually still eerily close. This is what a 92 drone economy does for Zerg, but if we do take a look, that number's probably going to be reduced soon as his hatchery is going to fall. That's a really critical part of Jim Rising's economy. That was his 5th base going down. His 6th base will also be the next target. And yeah, his economy is going to fall, and he's not going to be able to keep up these trades. Resources lost way too far in favor of Jason, killing off 32,000 resources compared to only losing 16,000 himself. That's a 2-to-1 battle ratio there. As well done indeed by Jason. That sounds more realistic, Jason having that result over Jim Rising. Jim Rising's really been streaming, whereas really streaming, playing a lot of the races, which does detract from your skill a little bit. That being said, Jim Rising did have a game plan in mind, and he was playing pretty well. But if we do take a look, though, Jason is looking really darn good, as we saw. Playing that good NA level Terran that he usually does. He has been playing some Protoss, has been playing some Zerg and such. But yeah, really good games so far today. And I say again, thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. Jon Snow versus Cats is going on. We've got Cham as well. Haven't mentioned him yet. The winner of this match will go on to play versus Solar, which is going to be a tall order. And I'm not, as per usual, I'm not sure how long I'm going to stick around to cast this. There's lots of good coverage for these events, but I do enjoy covering them. Alright, here we are in the bottom left-hand side of the map. It's Juggernaut Jason with the No Bully clan tag. And in the bottom right, it is Jim Rising Jim played a good game there. Like, I liked his idea of what to do. But in the end, it was just one of those things which the trades were just bad, bad, bad. And then eventually he lost the game. Because it turns out you can't lose 40 mutas for basically nothing. Alright, so, take a look, it's a normal build from both these players. Jim's got an Overlord moving around. I mean, Terrans will proxy you on any map. That's just a fact of life for a Zerg. All right. Metabolic boost on the way for Jim Rising. Getting out that speed. Jason's just doing the usual Terran stuff. A couple of Lings moving out on the map for Jim Rising. All is looking good. That was a really good last game. We'll see how this one's gonna turn out. Queen gonna shoo away that. Reaper still being a pain. We'll see if Jason's gonna go for a BC rush again. I think he is a player who tends to do it quite a bit. And we saw how good his battlecruiser control was. He just barely lost that one BC at the end of the game, but he had won the game by that point, so. Jim Rising having that good timing, making Jason run his SCVs. Good reaction by Jason, though. Hasn't actually lost a single skiv yet. Yeah. Cleans up those Lings. Loses a little bit of mining time. The one Marine did his job. More Lings running across the map for Jim Rising. He now throws up a Roach Warren. That's a 40 Roach Warren, though, so that's the safety Roach Warren. Hellions for Jason, just gonna YOLO in. Jason is a YOLO Terran, and oh gosh, he's gonna line these up and get some potentially really great shots off. 6 drones for starters. Let's see, can he get one more shot off? Not quite. So 6 drones in all, while the Lings on the other side of the map actually kill off 3 SCVs. So really getting some good damage done there in as a counterattack. Nice for Jim Rising there, actually, because if we take a look at it, that was basically 5 Hellions lost for a handful of Lings and for 6 drones. You want more than that as the Terran. So really good play by Jim Rising. Jason, if he had got one more shot off there, that would have worked out for him, but being a YOLO Terran has got its risk. Jim Rising tries to run in a few more Lings, but they get cleaned up. Raven's going to use an auto turret to actually kill off that Overlord. I do like that choice. Pop goes the Overlord. A Marine working away on this Overlord. That's going to hurt Jim Rising a little bit. Have to replace both of those. But as we take a look, Jason's just getting up his extra gases now. His 3rd CC isn't the speediest thing in the world. And I think that this is going to give Jim Rising a lot of free reign this game to play it out how he wants to. We see Jason uses a scan to grab some of the creep tumors. Gonna just keep bouncing around. Now that he's got this Raven, he can basically clean up the creep endlessly. And that is pretty good for Jason, getting all that creep. Couple of armories on the way behind this, the factories. Spinning up, Jason will secure up his third base. He's gonna have to detect what's coming his way. Either that, or we'll see if he's just gonna go into, like, blind Thors or something, because you never know if it's gonna be Mutas or, like, Mass Roach, Ravage, or Hydra. The Hellions, of course, being out on the map gives you a little bit of a heads up, but he really doesn't know what he's up against this match. So we see Jason fire up one tank, he gets Blue Flame. Maybe he'll just make, like, a Viking out of this starport now or something, as he is unsure of what he's facing off against. And yeah, I think Jason is a little bit unsure. Otherwise, he'd start something up. Yeah, and this is what happens to Terran a little bit when you're meching and you don't see what the Zerg's going for. So he's like, okay, it could be Mass Roaches, so I need a tank. But then it could be Mutas, so I need a Cyclone. And neither are great. Just having one Cyclone starting as your anti-air, not good. The Hellions are now going to be getting picked off. An auto turret gets thrown out by Jason, but that is not ideal. Both auto turrets get thrown out, but oh, he's going to lose the Raven. That is a disaster for the Terran. Jim Rising can really play this out how he wants to now at this point. Jason is making a couple of turrets. He is only on double factory production, and he just lost all of his Hellions again, and he doesn't have much. Alright, now we'll see. Is there going to be enough anti-air for Jason? He figures it is Mutas, as he is making a lot of turrets, but we see Jim Rising's actually just going to try and test the waters with his small amount of roaches. He's firing up some lings, too. Jason's quite worried about his lack of anti-air, and he's not making anything else. I think there's a decent chance that Jason's just going to die here. Like, he's got up a decent number of turrets, but the Mutas can micro against this. The Cyclones will be easy picking, seeing as how it's, what, 2 Cyclones out? No Thors? A single Viking to help out too? Like, Jason's got to get up, like, another turret or 2 or something, but just the early game has not gone well for him. He's throwing up more turrets now in his main base, but in come the Mutt-Mutts. They're going to see those building turrets as easy targets, pick them off. Does that turret get repaired? If that turret doesn't get repaired, I think Jason's honestly just dead. He's busy trying to stop those roaches, but he's got basically nothing anti-air is concerned. He's going to lose his armor, which is actually a huge deal, softening up his units against those Mutas. They're now not going to have that extra armor to help them out. Cyclones can lock onto the Mutas, help zone them out. Jim Rising might just go on top of this, and he is. This is going to force the Terran to retreat on top of his turret, but there goes 1, 2, Cyclones dead. That's most of Jason's anti-air. He's been trying to get up more production, but his base is in a state of disarray with trying to deal with these Mutas. Looks like he has cleaned up a few of them, but he's lost 14 SCVs in the process. He has killed off a few of Jim Rising's Mutas, but that was 18 SCVs for that. Jim Rising's going to make more Mutas. This is really, really bad for the Terran player, and that was because Jason threw away too many units. So he was it really was hesitation to one degree that's put him in a rough spot. And then it was, alright, he's got the Blue Flame, which is doing good against his Lings, but he's going to get surrounded. The Mutas and Lings will clean up these Hellions. Yeah, and Jason throws away a lot more units, and the fact that I think that he threw away the Raven, which could be anti-air because it can throw down the turret, then he threw away the Hellions, which can help buffer against a ground attack, it really made him unsteady. He was like, oh man, I'm not going to have enough anti-air, I'm not going to have enough on the ground in case it's a big roach attack. It's like the damned if you do, damned if you don't. Now the Mutas just fly in towards his natural, his SCV's being killed off by the Lings. The Cyclone's actually being picked off by the Roaches, and Jason can't afford to lose those. He does not have enough Vikings in the sky to deal with these Mutas easily. A couple more Cyclones pop out, but Jim Rising is just wiping the floor with Jason right now. The Muta supremacy just showing itself strongly in this game. Cyclones will just be jumped on by the Mutas. The Vikings are doing what they can, but more Mutas can come in for Jim Rising. He can just make more and more. Jason has lost 42 SCVs. He is down to 24. GG gets called, and Jim Rising ties the series up. That is what he wanted in the last game, and that is what he got in this game. Wow. Really, really darn good there for, really, really darn good for Jason. Or for Jim Rising, pardon me. I keep making mistakes there. this game, as far as the players' names. But anyway, great matches. GG gets called. And we have 42 people watching and 42 likes, so you guys are the absolute best. And then we'll load into the next game as soon as we can. There it is, Jason versus Jim Rising, Game 3 on Romanticide. All right, so we are loading in. Okay. This best of 3. Continuing on, going the distance. In the bottom right, he's the NA Terran hero. It's Juggernaut Jason. And in the top left, it's Jim Rising, the biggest streamer in the biggest Mexican streamer, that's for sure. Although I guess Juanito's a pretty big streamer too, but Jim Rising is like the streamer. Yeah, so good matches. Good matches today. We'll see what match is going to come up next after this, although, I mean, for all we know, this game could go very long. But, yeah, like, this is actually just a round of... This is a round of 32 match still. Gosh, I forgot. That's crazy. There's Armani versus Silky going on. There's Cham will play the winner of Aki versus Pig. I mean, there's Parting waiting for the winner of Jon Snow Cats. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And yeah, thanks so much to everyone who does tune into these cups. Fun to cast live once a week, but I should probably get on with my day after this one, so I think that may be where I shall call it for today. So we'll see who's gonna take this one. Alright, standard Reaper Expand for Jason. He has not SCV scouted Jim Rising this game, so he's given him the benefit of the doubt. Couple of Queenie Bobinis on the way now. Terran fighting, says Nick Baker. Reaper working away on a drone, working away on a Ling, gets the Ling, not the drone. No surprise there, the Ling did its job. Jason saw how much damage he got done on that drone. He's like, oh, that only needs that only needs like 2 more shots, 3 more shots. And then the drone could be mine. My precious. We take a look. Starport finishing up for Jason. He's playing pretty much the same. I'd be surprised if he goes into bio or something after this. He seems to like his mech play. Also, Copenhagen Das looked into the rules. Jim can play whatever race he wants, but he just has to switch at the start of the series. Can't switch between the games or anything. Alright, Hellion's on the way now. Liberator on the way. So Jason has been changing up what he makes out of his starport. The Raven last game didn't work out so well. The idea is there, but I think he was a bit too aggro. 2 Marines will shoot down this Overlord. Jason starts up Stim. Whether that's to fake out Jim Rising or not, that's the question. As we haven't actually seen him go mech just yet, but Jason looks like he's going to keep Stim Pack producing, so for now that's going alright for him. Jason really loves diving in with his Hellions, but he knows not to go in this time. Knows to be patient, as there is plenty of Lings waiting there. And yeah, Jason, gonna be throwing up extra barracks, gonna be getting up a 3rd command center, and he will be playing bio this match, which is good to see. Variety is the spice of life. And, yeah, now these Hellions are going to be charging in towards the 3rd base. The Queens for Jim Rising are in position to intercept them. Jim Rising playing like a good Zerg player. Plugging the holes before they even become holes. Marines working away on this Overlord, going to be able to kill that off. So Jim Rising, he's going to come in and try and identify whether it's basically more bio. And oh, Jason dove in with the Hellions once again. Such a YOLO Terran. Just charges these guys in. There's the Liberator in the main base while this is going on. Just absolute chaos in the main base's mineral line. Jim Rising loses 7 drones to that. For all of Jason's Hellions, that's questionable, seeing as how the Liberator was also there. So 7 drones for 6 Hellions, a Reaper, a Liberator. Only 10 Lings died in the process of that too. I don't know if that's worth it for Jason. But anyway, he's now going to be powering up with bio. I think Jim Rising will know that it is committed bio. Depending how much attention he was paying. The fact that he sees these 5 Marines is definitely a tell. That, yeah, it is going to be bio he's playing. So he's getting up the double Evo. He did get up to Roachhorn, but he probably won't make any more Roaches. He'll probably just start his 1-1 for his Evo. There's the Baneling Nest. And then just go into approaching this like a Lingbane Muta style. Although Jim Rising is known for making a lot of Hydras, or at least he was in the past, so maybe he'll be doing that again. We see Jason's throwing up turrets for safety, but the Mutas are a ways away. And yeah, once Jason has got out his Medivacs, he can begin that Terran dropping stage, and the game will really heat up from there. Jason loading those boys up into those Medivacs, moving them out across the map. Romanticide is not that far of a distance. We see Jim Rising actually misrallied some of his Overlords. Loses 1, gonna lose another. That's rather expensive. I guess he was just trying to get the vision, but yeah, they were not heading in a good direction. These Overlords are giving Jim a lot of vision, but they could be easy pickings. Now Jason's moving towards the north. I guess he was just looking for Lings, waiting for a counterattack. But getting those Overlords is really nice. That's gonna have slowed Jim down a little bit. Looks like I accidentally disabled the army supply. How do I re-enable that? There we go. Alright, Marines now coming in. They're gonna have their 1-1 for Jason soon, but this is definitely not a pushing force. This is a poking force. Jason's gonna scan. He will get that creep, which is good for him, but shouldn't get anything more based on how many units those are. He does get a Queen. He's doing a pretty good job trading out. But he should have his next drop ready or his push ready. He's going to load up the tanks into the Medivacs, so that is going to turn this into a push. And yeah, he's just going to try and put pressure on Jim Rising right away. Might use these rocks to his advantage. Put the tanks behind there, and oh, I do love this. Putting one of the tanks behind the rocks, one of them in the bushes there. The tank is actually going to, well, tank against a lot of the Banelings while the Marines cut up a huge amount of the Lings. And Jason's just going to be rallying more and more units across the map. This is looking really good for the Terran player right now. Jim Rising does not have a lot to defend against this. His Baneling speed isn't done. Jason's getting a good split. He's got his 1-1 done, whereas Jim Rising just has got the Carapace. The tanks are set up. This is looking like it might just be a quick kill here for Jason, as Jim Rising is trying to defend his 4th base, but he's lost so much already. This is just so many Marines for the Terran player, and Jason is right on top of the 4th of Jim Rising. Banelings are waddling forward, but slowly. They're not going to get the hits they need, and now it's just Ravagers, which cannot contend with these stimmed Marines. They will die. The drones are going to have to run away, but Jim Rising is just in a very disastrous position. The Marines stim forward, trading against the Lynx, trading against the Ravagers, doing incredibly well for themselves. And Jim Rising, while he got up to a healthy 75 drone count, he's making whatever he can to hold on. I think Jason will just be able to take this one home, and is going to take the 2-1 against the Zerg player. Good attempt by Jim Rising, but in the end, he just wasn't ready for this. Maybe losing those overlords is what really threw him off, but great attack by Jason, using those rocks, cleaning up that little bit of creep earlier, turning it into a push. And Jim Rising isn't dead yet, but he is all but. He lost his 4th. He does have another base up, so that's good for him, but take a look at the army splats, 30 to 60. More tanks are out for Jason, 3 tanks in all, so he's going to be able to just keep pushing, basically. Jim's making as many Lings as he possibly can right now. He's going to have some Banelings that finish up just in time. They do get some good connections on the Marines, as the Zerg player is desperately trying to hold on. Let's see the Lings come on in. They're going to get on top of the tanks. Looks like the tanks will be cleaned up. There's still Marines being healed by this bio. Jason's got 2-2 on the way. He's got just tons of Marines rallying out. Jim Rising not quite having enough. Is trying to pull drones, but that's a desperate Zerg when you're pulling drones into Marines. GG gets called. Jason takes the 2-1 series. Well played indeed. Well played by Jason. Good attempt by Jim Rising in the end, though. Jason did seem to look like the player who was a little bit better. It's always fun to cast Jim, though, so big thanks to him for playing in this cup. Let's take a look here. Dark versus Niddick. See if any other matches are going on. Jason will play Solar. I don't know if I want to cast that, though. I might just, I think I am going to call the stream here, guys. It was nice streaming. Thanks so much to everyone for tuning on in. If you do enjoy the stream, please hit that like button on your way out. It actually does help the stream. If you do have a spare minute, go ahead, follow that link, follow the Trovo account. Join the Discord. That's linked down below. We talk Starcraft. I ping every time I go live. Leave a... yeah. Hit the like button. If you were tuning in and you weren't subbed, go ahead and do that. Actually helps out quite a bit if you sub to the channel. We're slowly inching towards that 10,000 subscriber mark. One day we'll get there. But, yeah. There are other streamers, so consider checking them out, but I shall see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning on in. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.